cheap pool cleaner copycats promise set and forget but end up turning a quick dip into a whole-day chore. I've seen a lot of people buy a low-priced robot, only to find it can't get past the waterline, leaves a swirl of debris on the steps, or dies halfway through the weekend. That hesitation wondering if you're about to waste money on a gadget that sounds great on paper makes the decision feel risky. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. The Dolphin Nautilus EON 120D tries to answer that exact worry by going cordless, adding Wi-Fi control, and promising full pool coverage for pools up to 50 feet. The moment I unboxed it, the first thing I noticed was the lack of a power cord. No tangled hoses, no outlet near the poolside, just a sleek black unit that slides into the water and a small dock that sits on the deck. The dock is where the robot recharges, and the fact that it does it wirelessly means you don't have to schedule a messy plug-in routine every time you want a clean swim. Setting it up is essentially a two-step dance. Plug the dock into a standard 120V outlet, press the power button on the robot, and use the Dolphin app to pair via Wi-Fi. The app walks you through calibrating the pool dimensions, enter length, width, and depth, then draw the outline of any sun ledges or water lines you want extra attention on. It feels a bit like setting up a Roomba, but for water, and the whole process takes under 5 minutes. Once the map is saved, the robot can run on its own, and you can start, pause, or switch cleaning modes from your phone, even when you're on the couch. What matters most in daily use is whether it actually reaches the spots that matter. I own a rectangular backyard pool with a shallow kids area, a deep diving section, and a small concrete ledge where the sun hits the water at midday. The EON's smart navigation uses a combination of gyroscopes and wall-following sensors, which means it doesn't just bounce randomly, it follows a logical pattern that sweeps the floor, climbs the ledge, and then circles the waterline. In practice, that translates to a noticeable drop in visible algae on the edges after just one cycle. The multi-layer filtration cartridge captures fine particles, leaving the water clear without having to run the pump for hours. Runtime is another real-world factor. The spec sheet says up to 4.5 hours, and on a typical cleaning cycle for a 40-foot pool, the robot actually lasted about 3 hours and 45 minutes before returning to the dock. That gave me a full pass through the deep end, the shallow area, and the ledge without interruption. If you have a larger pool or want a second pass, you can simply start another cycle. The dock recharges the battery in roughly 2 hours, which is reasonable for weekend cleaning routines. Strengths become clearer when you think about the hidden costs of a cheap alternative. A lower-priced corded robot often forces you to buy a separate power supply, a longer cord, and sometimes even a replacement filter more often because the filtration system isn't as robust. The EON's multi-layer cartridge is designed to last several months before you need to replace it, and because the unit is cordless, you avoid wear on a cord that can fray over time. The Wi-Fi connectivity also means you can set a schedule from your phone, so the robot can clean while you're at work, and you get a push notification when it's done. That kind of convenience is hard to quantify but saves you a few mental steps each week. On the flip side, there are practical weaknesses you should weigh. First, the robot's price point sits well above the $200 $300 range of basic models, so it's an upfront investment that assumes you'll use it regularly. If you only have a small plunge pool or you plan to clean manually most of the time, the extra features might feel unnecessary. Second, the dock does need a stable, level surface. Placing it on a sloped deck or a wooden board that flexes can cause the robot to misalign its charging contacts, leading to occasional failed charging attempts. I found that a simple piece of rubber matting solved the issue, but it's an extra step you have to remember. Finally, the Wi-Fi connection can be temperamental if your home network is on a crowded 2.4 GHz band. In my house, the router was a few meters away from the pool, and after a week I noticed occasional dropouts that forced a repair in the app. It's not a deal-breaker, but it does mean you should be comfortable with a little troubleshooting. Who should buy the Dolphin Nautilus EON 120D? If you have a medium-sized in-ground pool, up to 50 feet, that you use regularly, especially if you enjoy having a clean surface without spending an hour or more each weekend with a hose and net, this robot fits the bill. Families with kids, people who entertain pool parties, or anyone who wants a set-and-forget solution that can be started from a phone are the core audience. The cordless design.